right, left.
Yep. I think
Man,
so.
man, look, everybody, we started late because it's Sean's fault today, man. I literally, sometimes I get my mind twisted. I'm thinking I sent him the time, the start time, knowing he's 2 hours behind, and I sent him a time 1 hour behind. And I'm sitting up here waiting, like, where's this dude at? So it's my fault that we didn't start on time, but as always, YouTube, hit the button, the thumbs up, smash it for us. Make sure you subscribe, share all your comments. We respond to all audio edibles each and every day over at CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Home of the Misguided Passion, man, forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. Petty Train should be fun today. I'll just leave it at that. Petty Train should be fun today. We're going to talk about Nick Saban and his comments and what he's had to say.
He finally told the truth. He finally told the truth. We all knew it. We all knew Saban.
And then, we're going to talk about the Notre Dame offense with all of the hype about Marcus Freeman and what he's loved about the offense and the team in the first practice or so, and the workouts with Lauren Lando. We're going to get into the keys, the 3 keys to an explosive Notre Dame offense, especially versus good opponents. And then the 3 most important players and making sure that that happens. Left, how you feeling, man? It seems like the days are longer, right? Because time jumped forward. So you get an extra hour of light.
Yeah, I think it's just I got to adjust to the shorter time, I guess, because I was on the back end of time 3 hours behind. Now I'm 2 hours behind, so it's a little different.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm trying to be an ambassador of good for Chicago Bears fans, Left. We're going to get to Notre Dame in a second. I'm trying to be an ambassador.
It's looking worse and worse for them Bears fans.
I don't want to say that. I'm trying to keep them sane, if you will. Because I would like to explain what took place this time over a year ago. This time over a year ago, the Bears were getting ready to, or had just traded the number 1 overall pick to the Panthers for a great haul and DJ Moore. And they were celebrating the fact that Aaron Rodgers was no longer in the Packers, dude. I kid you not. Radio stations threw celebrations in Chicago. And see, this is when I said, this is super corny. Like, why in the world are you celebrating the fact that Aaron Rodgers is no longer in the Packers? And they were like, because the Packers are going to suck now. See, now the Packers are just like us.
Just like y'all? I don't know. Jordan Love looks to be the franchise right now.
You know why? The Packers are a good organization, Left.
Yeah.
They're a good organization. Right? They traded for Brett Favre, developed him. People forget before they got Brett Favre was behind a quarterback that was also a Pro Bowler and Magic Man, Don Majkowski, before he got injured. And that led to Brett Favre coming in.
Brett Favre,
right. Yes. So the Packers have 20 plus years of proof that they can evaluate, draft, and develop the quarterback. They have proof. Bears, none. So now with only 5 draft picks, a GM that in free agency has signed not one chess piece, the Packers have gotten better. The Lions have gotten better. The Vikings have gotten better.
Just let go of Daryl Mooney. No. They just gave him money. No. He went to Atlanta.
He went to Atlanta in free agency.
They must mean they're getting a receiver. They got to get a receiver. They got to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Odunze back-to-back picks in the first round for Justin Fields.
So this is the biggest thing has not been, let me tell you, I say this to bring it to Notre Dame. The most important thing, because we're going to talk about the offense, the most important thing that has happened are the signs that have been shown by the retention of coaches and the investment financially in what is to come as far as development, new facilities, and everything that's going on that seems like there is a full buy-in and investment to the Notre Dame football program that did not previously exist. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. We're going to talk about offense, and play calling, and reading from top down, and changes that are made, and recruiting, and all of that. What Notre Dame is doing is what the Chicago Bears need to do. Because Caleb Williams isn't changing the fact that they're a bad organization. And he doesn't change that left. He doesn't change the fact that they have the worst head coach in their division. The worst.
You like Kevin O'Connell?
Yes.
You like him?
He without Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, he won the same amount of games as Matt Eberflus. think about that. He didn't have his number one receiver and his starting quarterback, franchise quarterback, and still won the same amount of games with Josh Dobbs. With Joshua Dobbs. Yes, I like Kevin O'Connell better than Matt Eberflus. Kevin O'Connell went to the playoffs his first year. Left. He lost to the Giants, but he went. You're darn right. Matt Eberflus is the worst coach in the division.
Yeah.
But people want to, we got the number one pick. We're going to get Caleb Williams. To do what? To do what? To fight for a wild card? That's why I said, people were celebrating the demise of the Packers. And I'm like, yeah, they're actually a good organization that knows how to run a football team. The Bears? So be encouraged, Notre Dame fans, because you could be feeling like Bears fans right now. You could. Let's get to it, Left. Offense. And we go back to what Marcus Freeman had to say when he talked about, the transfer wide receivers and what they've meant early on.
What did you see from some of your transfer wideouts today?
They can run, right? And I think I saw more deep balls caught, in this practice than I've seen in a long time. And so it was really good to see, right? And it's going to be great for both sides. The speed, the ability to throw the ball downfield is going to obviously be great for our offense, but it's going to be a great challenge for our DBs. And so, I can't wait to see this competition as we go throughout the spring.
Left, give us your three keys, Left. Your three keys to this Notre Dame offense turning it around and not only being consistent. They broke records last year. But
yeah,
you knew when they faced,
they did last year.
But you knew that when they face a good defense or a good team, you weren't getting the same production.
And that's where the difference has to show. It has to show the difference in when we get into those big games, are we the same person and team we are against Pittsburgh, that we are against Purdue, that we are against these teams that we easily go out there and score 40, 50 points against. It's whenever we get into the big games, which where the narrative exists. When we get in big games, we get very small. I'm taking the under every time when it comes to Notre Dame in big games. The under. Because we go into this different mindset where we want to be super conservative or we want to play time of possessions or keep away. So the difference has to be in big games, we have to show up big offensively. This conservative running style and all of that, I think Ben Brock is going to open that up and let us take a chance and err on the side of making big plays. Can we err on the side of trying to be a 400-yard passing team in a big game? How would that look like on Notre Dame? I don't think we've thrown over 250 yards in any big game we played, where we've had a shootout, where we've looked like the comparable offense. We've always looked like David and Goliath. We're almost too religious on the football field. Because when it comes to big games, we always act like we David. Like we throwing rocks when we really got all the weapons we need to do what we need to do in the big moments. So for us, that mindset or that way of thinking has to change. I think Marcus Freeman sees the importance of it. I know Denbrock knows the importance of it because he's able to use that offense as the unit to lead the team. LSU was an offensive-led team last year. So he knows that there's things that has to take place. So big plays have to be of importance. We're only talking about the games that matter because it's hard to evaluate where we stand because we play so different against teams we're supposed to beat. So for me, it's the consistency in big wins and showing up big. Showing up big is being able to get on the scoreboard early and often, like we do in all these other games. We need to stop taking the small man approach. The second thing is playmakers have to be allowed to be playmakers. And that comes from a coaching decision. Last year, the playmakers we needed in those big games, we went away from. That Aldrich Estime in the last drive against Ohio State, he need to touch the ball every time. Don't take him off the field. So situational coaching has to be better in these big games. And then the last thing, help our defense. Take advantage of momentum from our defense. Our defense keeps us in every game. But taking advantage of the momentum and like off of turnovers, scoring points off of momentous parts of the game is where it's going to come important for us because we're all about changing narrative. Last year, the narrative changing game was Ohio State. And nothing outside of that game changed how the season went in our minds because that was the game. This year, it's about the playoffs. So these games we're going through need to show dominance and consistency. If we can show dominance and consistency, getting to the playoffs will be where we need to be because we will have the formula. We go into these big games with no formula. Playing consistently throughout the regular season, getting to the playoffs, I believe we'll have the formula. And the guys will have the confidence to execute that in big games. I don't want to look like we're overwhelmed every time we get into these big matchups. Where it's like, why are we looking like the junior varsity team playing the varsity team? Well, we're the big dogs.
Right.
So that's going to change, in my opinion, with the confidence of Marcus Freeman, with Denbrock, and then whoever the quarterback is, being able to have that confidence. Steve Angeli, in my opinion, has done the right things, right? Done the right things to show, okay, we can give you the keys to the car. Don't crash it. And I think he's ready to do it.
As you talk about that, giving the keys to the car, the competition that Marcus Freeman talked about, and just to reiterate, he did pretty much say, look, we're not committed to anyone at this time. We're going to let these guys get equal reps. We're not worried about who's playing with who or making sure that the ones are with this quarterback and that quarterback. No. Like you said, they're interested in seeing the players that make plays.
Yes.
The players that make plays. We need to figure out who our playmakers are that are going to be able to make explosive plays in this offense consistently. And I love hearing that. But when you spread that out, is there difficulty in having a competition but trying to do some of the things you talked about, which is to establish the playmakers? You know, is that something that you can figure out in the spring, or does that spill over into the fall camp as well?
Well, with the situation we have with a transfer guy coming in with high expectations, you want to be able to clean it up before the fall camp comes. So you want to push that competition. You want to push and make guys uncomfortable in situations because you got to get a read on who can perform when the lights come on. And I think in practice, it's a different mentality because you're going through routine, you're going through different parts of the day where Marcus Freeman has to create challenges. Denbrock has to create challenges and situations to see when the bullets start flying, who can we rely on? Right now, everything is vanilla. Everybody's just working their reps, getting used to what was going on. So towards the end of spring, it needs to be evaluated on let's just go by the sheet. I think one of the things we did at Florida that worked well was every day was graded. Every day we went into the QB room, we had the grades of the day, the percentages, what we did good, what we did bad. It gave us a realistic, quantifiable scale of who was really doing good each day. And I think keeping it simple like that, it helps the guys in the room saying, okay, this is where I need to be better. This is where I'm lacking. And through that, Denbrock can find the guy that he can be like, okay, we've seen the film, we've seen the plays, we've seen the percentages. How do we put that into making the team run the well the best? And I think having the guys that we have in the room is going to shake out. It always does. And I trust that Denbrock is going to lead us in the right way with that. So hopefully it's done before spring. But I think having it where it is, where you're giving guys opportunity, especially with the room we have, because we know CJ shelved. But Steve, Kenny, and Riley Leonard, I think are three great guys that can navigate the offense in different ways. And I think that we're asking of these three guys different things when they come into the position. But I think that also helps evolve Denbrock on, okay, what are we good at? What are we not good at? And that's what it's about in the spring. What are we good at? What are we not good at? And who can run it the best? Because fall camp, you got to hit the ground running. Because then it's about reps. Then it's about taking the ones with the ones and the twos with the twos. Because you got to get ready. Right now, we don't have a game tomorrow. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we need ones with ones, but fall camp needs to be like that. So this period during spring is the evaluation to get towards that.
And from a basketball standpoint, it's almost like an open gym.
Yeah. Open gym, yeah, it's
right?
way different.
It's open gym. And you just have these different combinations of 5-on-5. You get to sit back and see, who's grown over the summer? Who's gotten better over the summer? And it kind of feels like that, when you explain it, and when Marcus Freeman talks about, look, we're not worried about who's ones and who are two. Look, it goes back to when he first got here. He said, look, I want 1A and 1B. I don't want ones, twos, 1A, 1B. One of the shockers for us, we expected Eli Raridan to be the first tight end out.
That's true.
And here comes Cooper Flanagan. Trying out with the first group. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that goes to show you the mindset that was given when Denbrock came in. Like, there is no starting job.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to prove to me that you can give me what I need in this offense to make it what we feel like. And then Mike Denbrock said it. We can be a top 10 offense. Off rip.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you got a top 10 defense, you have a great chance of being a top 10 offense because you're going to have opportunities. Which goes back to saying, in these big games, we got to take advantage of opportunities the defense gives us. We can't just take the opportunity to take more time off the clock. The defense gets turned over a bit more as soon as David Wise get a pick. Like in Clemson, those got to be points. That's where we change it. That's where you come intimidating because now the other team is pressed on. We can't give up the ball. Like the Kansas City Chiefs. When they went against the Ravens, it wasn't that they were necessarily – they were playing well. Offensively, they were playing well. But from a Ravens position, it was we have to be perfect to even be in the game. That pick down the middle, Lamar knew right then, it's over because it's only so many times you get to mess up against Pat Mahomes. So these turnovers are going to be very, very crucial. And that's how offensively we will have to carry ourselves as, okay, you go do your thing, go down and score if you can. But if you turn it over, the game's going to be over before you know it. Because you're going to give us a ball short field, and you already know we touchdown. So those are the type of things we need to be responding to change that narrative and make our offense a lot better. Because we're used to saying, okay, we get the ball, it take our turn, we give you the ball, you take your turn. And then if you give it back to us, we'll give it right back to you. For us, we need to be like basketball, make it, take it. We score, we get a quick 3 and out. Oh, we going again. It's not we get in the end zone again. We're not looking to punt. You gave us short field. Oh, you go down, you get a field goal. Oh, we got turned into the 7 next drive. So that's more the mentality we need to have because right now we're not intimidating as an offense. Defenses come in there and say, okay, we just got to play good and see what our offense can do against their defense. So once we start putting the pressure on other teams' defense, I think we'll be in the right position.
You mentioned something left earlier. You used the word formula. And what it made me think about is, especially in college football, year to year, in order to win or be a contender, you have to have the answers because every year has different. It's almost like the algebraic equation, and you have multiple variables in that equation.
Yep.
And what are those variables going to be? Because they can change year to year. And as a coaching staff, you have to be able to find those variables that lead to possibly your team being a little bit different than the previous championship contender you had. And
Yeah.
Notre Dame is in a place where they're trying to find that formula. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs have a formula. They have the answers. They have the answers. Even though it might not look like the previous Super Bowl champion, they have the answers to win in some way, form, or fashion. And that's what Marcus Freeman, that's why the buy-in from administration is important, because that's part of the formula. That's why Marcus Freeman having his staff is important. That's part of the formula. And so that's some of the things that we need to look at.
Absolutely. It's the formula that you put in the spring, in these training camps and fall camp, and it's testing different variables. Is Chris Mitchell with Steve Angeli and Jadarian Price the right mix? Is Jeremiah Love, Riley Leonard, and a Bo Collins the right formula? These are the things you play with in spring. This is why you don't have a ones, twos early on right now, because you finding the formula, you finding the variables. What pieces make this thing run the best? You think about basketball. Darvin Ham's worst quality, which makes me so frustrated when I watch the Lakers, is that his formula for his substitutions and who he has play together are terrible. And it's crazy because the Lakers have great depth, but it's the combination of who he has on the floor at a particular time is the problem. If you putting Jared Vanderbilt, AD, and Austin Reeves together, and you throw LeBron in there, and they're going in a small lineup, it doesn't look good. You need to be able to put the matchups with matchups. And for us, we have bad rotation earlier. We put ourselves in a position where we only got one guy we feel like we can go to because it's a bad combination, it's a bad formula. So that's why Denbrock, saying that is open, he's trying to find which pieces connect with. Does Steve have a better connection with Chris Mitchell than Riley? Does Kenny have the better connection with a unit than the other guy? So those variables are going to change for Marcus Freeman. Him understanding that these variables are going to happen, he feels better about replacing variables instead of not having a true formula. Okay, I got A plus B equals C, but if I take A out and put E in there, I can still get the same answer, or I can get a better answer because now my variables have gotten better. I don't have to look behind me and think all I got is one guy, which I think was a way we thought for a long time. But with the recruiting being what it was and the confidence behind Marcus Freeman, we should be all right. Denbrock's going to figure out the formulas. Marcus Freeman, because of that, is going to be a better coaching situations. He's going to know the team better. And I think that's what year 3 does for a coach, is that you know your guys because you recruited them from the bird. But also, you've had time to yourself to see, okay, I'm not going to let Ohio State happen again. I'm not going to let Oklahoma State happen again. I'm not ever going to let no Marshall happen. So he can only learn from that by going through it. But in year 3, this is where you streamline the process. This is where you put the rubber to the road. Because now the schedule's set up to where you can take advantage of trying different things, but also be dominant in those same efforts. Because when it gets to the playoffs, there's no excuses for this season. So you got to be right. You got to be on point.
This right here, if we think Brian, our guy, Brian J. Irish, he said, "Do you really think Riley is fighting for the #1 position?" I don't know. First of all, Marcus Freeman has never struck me as a person that gives you lip service. So when he says the competition is open, I think fully that Mike Denbrock has the competition open. Because he's not about to say, yo, there are no starting jobs for every other position. But then he wasn't the one that guaranteed Riley Leonard. He didn't do that. He didn't go recruit Riley Leonard. So he's stepping into a position where he's like, yo, all I know is the last starting quarterback to win is Steve Angeli. The quarterback that's been spoken about as the leader in all-season workouts by players is Steve Angeli. And during the first practice,
I know Denmark was watching that film of the last, and he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We might do something with this. Let's not just think Riley and that's it. I'm looking at this film and I can't, like Marcus Freeman said, it's about the plays you see on film. Steve Angeli has proved you going 4 for 4 and in cleanup time and a touchdown and operating well and calling things at the line. You can't deny that. You can't deny him on that. So that's why Denbrock's like, yeah, I get we paid $2 million for a guy. But that $2 million, I don't necessarily need to cash in when I got guys on the team that are doing well too. So I like that we're keeping it open to a point, but then every time you have to make that decision. And Marcus Freeman, this is another opportunity. Last year was easy. Oh, we're going Sam, we're getting rid of them other two. It's good. This year you really got to decide because it can be a detriment by waiting too late. Don't wait too late because now you're gonna confuse the team, you're gonna confuse the locker room. You got guys and they feelings. You don't know what identity you're going with. But if you know your guy is Steve or your guy is Riley Leonard, your guy is Kenny, let it be known. Hell, have a team meeting. I always feel like it would be so much easier if we have a team meeting and Marcus Freeman walks in front of the team and say, hey, your leader, your quarterback is this guy right here, and we're gonna ride with him. That's what changes an offense because now you know the captain. Okay, I gotta go through Steve to get to Gino to get to Marcus. That's the chain of command. If you say, oh, from Marcus to Gino to a quarterback room, nobody's gonna know who to follow. So it'll be an honor if Marcus Freeman names that guy in front of the team. That way you know what you're getting. You're not surfacing all these feelings that you may have because you think you're better. This the way we rocking. The team's gonna be behind you till the wheels fall off. And if it don't work, we can move on. But at least we're direct and we know what we're doing.
Can I play devil's advocate for a minute? Because you said something that I feel like is very interesting because it reminds me of the situation that you went through. It was clear that the team recognized you as the leader. It was clear. Coach Kelly decided to go in the opposite direction of what the team pretty much felt and expressed. We're talking about the players publicly saying Steve has been the guy.
Yeah, publicly they say that.
Steve has been the guy. He's been the leader in workouts, right? So we get to a point where the team is like, hey, man, Steve is the leader.
Because you could fracture a team doing that. You know what I'm saying? You can fracture a team that because now they're thinking, what are the coaches on? Like, what are y'all thinking? Nobody feels safe. If you picking guys to play that ain't ready and the team knows it, or the team doesn't believe in the guy necessarily like they do the other guy, everybody starts thinking about themselves. Oh, am I safe? Because it doesn't feel like it's about playing the best. It feels about, oh, this is a political, and that's what everybody calls it the political part of the game. Because in football, the cream always rises to the top. It's the best part about football. You can't fake it. You're either good or you're not good. And if you're not good, it's only a matter of time before they can't play you anymore. And that's when it's too late. So it's better to identify who the team believes in the most because that's who's out there playing. Even if you want a guy to play that ain't quite ready, you can only do so much before it falls apart, before the answers don't come out the way they should. So it's important that you put on display who you have to fight for the position. Yeah. But through practices, through watching film, through listening to your team, it'll decide itself. And to Steve to have this confidence and the team be behind Steve, because when has the team ever been boasting Steve? Since he's been there, I've never remembered him highlighting the Steve Angeli as he's been on the roster. He was Sam Hartman's best friend. That's what I knew him as, Sam Hartman's homeboy. He probably got Sam coffee in the morning, cleaned up his locker when he was gone doing interviews, making sure his cleats was right. That's what they was talking about Steve last year. Now, they're like, no, Steve got it. He's taking hold of the reins. And I think that's very special to not lose when you convolute it with this whole competition and we got to play this guy because we're paying him. Let it shake out how it is, because that's the best way it can work.
And see, Bill Jefferson, we thank you for tapping in. He says they paid a lot of money for Riley Leonard. They did.
That's Marcus Freeman's fault, because we've been saying before, I've been saying, what is Riley doing that's much better than what Steve's shown? Because I was on support. I'm like, if Riley isn't guaranteeing us a championship, why not Steve? It didn't make sense to me. So, yeah, we paid a lot of money for Riley. That's our own fault, but we used to spending money. That's the thing about Notre Dame. They're going to spend the money, and if it don't work, they got more of it. Now, we spending money, in my opinion, a little frivolously, because I don't know how much different Steve is from Riley. And Steve is free. I mean,
now, I'll say this, and you can take it from here. I'm just going off of what I saw. The most confident quarterback on day one was Steve Angeli.
Yeah.
Flat out. Man, I don't care what anybody else is saying on that podcast. The most confident quarterback was Steve Angeli.
And what did we talk about last year? Steve's confidence is going to be the difference. That was the difference. You can't go into a situation wanting to force a guy to play. It just doesn't work like that. And I kept being adamant about it. Steve is not bad for what we have as a team. We don't need Superman. We don't need Cam Newton. We don't need Trevor Lawrence. What Steve's skill set is great for the great team that we have around him. So what is Riley doing? Because his confidence it's not going to be on the level of a Steve right now. So you have a guy that's at base camp, making his way up the mountain, and Steve already halfway up. That matters. And we're talking about the mountain of confidence at the Notre Dame position. His talent got him at base camp. His talent don't mean he's going to get to the top, because everybody's talented.
In the quarterback room, about time.
That's what I was telling Ken. That's what I was telling our guy Ken. I'm like, listen, Riley is a Fiat with a nice engine. He was amongst other Fiats. He just had a better engine. The Fiat with the V8 engine at Notre Dame ain't standing out. It's not standing out. We got Ferraris, Lamborghinis. We got the Lamborghini Urus. That thing just dropped. That's at Notre Dame. So a Fiat with a nice engine it looks cool, but it's not going to win the race. It's not going to win the race. We don't need him to win the race. We don't need the Fiat to come in first place. We just need the Fiat to hold the pack together, and then through that, then we'll be able to take the next step. So for a guy like Steve, who was in a position of confidence where he's in control, and the reason why he's confident because he knows he's better than Riley. That's like, it don't take long. You get in that QB room, your confidence comes from looking around being like, okay, they can't mess with me. That's where Kenny comes from. What Kenny tell us last year? He said, yeah, guys doing a lot of things, but I could throw that football. Kenny's like, I can throw that ball. Yeah, everybody's cool. You know, they all good. But yeah, I can throw that football. So I loved his answer. I love Kenny's answer when he had the interview with Cam Williams.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
said,
this past weekend, like
yeah, he said,
yeah.
Who's the most athletic in the room? He said, me. Who the fastest in the room? Me.
And see, that's what you have to love, because the chat always is fantastic, right? And we're not here. This is not about debating who's better. There's only one person that was there.
It's only one person that was there.
That was me.
That's right.
And I don't know about everybody else. I don't have any reason or ties to put out a narrative. I'm telling you who the best quarterback and the most confident quarterback on that day was.
On that day.
I didn't pay if they 1 million, 2 million. I didn't pay 1 million, 2 million for it to be this close.
Yeah.
I didn't pay that. I didn't pay 1 million, 2 million for it to be this close.
It gotta be like this.
It needs to be like this. And can it end up being that way? I hope so.
For our pocket's sake, yes.
No, for our playoff chances, I hope so.
But if we're paying for this, it's a disservice. I might as well go with Steve. If it's this close, I'm going with Steve. That's what I was talking about last year. What is the difference? And I was telling Ken this. Riley's no different than Steve. Steve's just more confident and can throw it better because he knows the offense more and he knows his guys better. So unless Riley is coming in there bona fide first pick of the draft, we already know we winning Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence situation. It's not. Riley's trying to earn a spot just like everybody else. We just paid him $2 million to come try. But I think Steve has taken all this in. Right?
No, people expected Steve to roll over.
And he's taking all of it in.
That's what people expect. A certain amount of Notre Dame fans that were just happy about Riley Leonard expected Steve Angeli to just roll over. Just accept, this dude is coming in. Steve is like, the hell with that. No.
And that's where he's finally taking that step. He's not a best friend of Riley anymore. Sam's not there no more. He's internalizes, you're gonna pay $2 million for a guy over me, and I'm 4 for 4 and winning bowl games. Oh yeah, okay, I'm ready. That's going to drive Steve, in my opinion, to be the guy that leads us out against Texas A&M. Because those narratives are like the Jordan narratives. He said, what about my mama? Oh, yeah, I'm going to get 50. Finding anything is motivation. And finally, Steve's turned the corner on that. He ain't going into these interviews. Yeah, man, I was just lotioning the guy's back earlier. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. No. He's like, man, I'm going in there to run that thing. Marcus Freeman said everybody's open, everybody can start in this position. I'm looking to be the guy. Finally. So him turning that corner is the difference. And I think it's going to make the difference in the season, especially when it comes down to who's going to start.
It's a great position to be in, Notre Dame fans. At this point, I said it, flip a coin. Play either one. Play either one. I don't care. The narrative doesn't change. Get to the playoffs, win a playoff game. Doesn't change.
Doesn't change.
I don't care if it's Riley Leonard. I don't care if it's Steve Angeli. I don't care if it's Kenny Minchie. My expectation is the exact same.
That's right.
My expectations are lower just a little bit if CJ Carr is the starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's lower just a little bit.
That's
just
it.
A little bit. That's it.
That's the only thing that will lower my expectations for this season. When was the last time you could say definitively you feel comfortable with 2 to 3 quarterbacks?
2014, Miev, Deshaun.
Like Hunter H said, then why did they go get a transfer if Steve is ready? Wait, let me answer this.
Yeah, okay.
Because that comes across like that's a real deep question. No, it's the same reason they're recruiting Deuce Knight. Same reason they recruited CJ Carr. You go get good quarterbacks when you have a chance. That's why.
Yeah.
So you think Kenny Minchie sucks? That's why we went and got Riley Leonard. We got Riley Leonard. So let's stop recruiting Deuce Knight. No. Marcus Freeman has changed the mindset from let's load up on Drew Pines and Tiger Buckners to let's load up on actual talent in the quarterback room.
Yeah.
It's common sense. That's what Alabama does. That's what Georgia does. That's what top programs do. They actually load up, right? They load up, right?
That's right.
They load up. Like Bill Jefferson said, yo, they spent a lot of money on Riley Leonard. You know who else spent money on quarterbacks?
Ohio
Alabama.
State, Alabama, all them schools, yeah.
They spent $1 million to get a quarterback in. Guess who started? Matt Jones. Guess who won the national championship in the Heisman? Matt Jones.
With Bryce sitting on $1 million.
See this? You know what good teams do? See, if you're fashionable left and you know how to rock fashion, you can shop at Old Navy, you can shop at Versace, you can shop at Polo. It doesn't matter where you shop. You know how to dress. See, Nick Saban has won with he's won with transfer quarterbacks like Coker. He's won with
running backs at quarterback like Blake Sims.
He's won with Mac Jones.
He's won with different types, from a Tua to a Jalen Hurts.
He's gotten a
Nick Elroy.
Thank you. He's put a
AJ McCarron.
He's put a true freshman in the national championship game and come from behind and win a national championship. See, that's top programs. That's what they do.
He put 2 true freshmen in to win the championship. And
Absolutely.
Those 2 freshmen became a first round and a Heisman player.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, formula figured out at Alabama. Obviously, it's changed because now the money coming in, so Saban can't run the same way, which is why he stopped being a part of it. But same thing for us. So I think we're in a great position on loading up on the QB talent, because now we even recruiting guys that are playing 2 positions that, hell, if everything goes to hell, we could throw a kid in there right now that's 6'4", 200 pounds, and he going to give us something. He don't have to be the perfect. He's going to give us something that's going to help this team win games. And that's what Marcus Freeman is about.
It is a program that has recognized, yo, we need to go get talent. And since Gino Guidugli has gotten here, we need to go get 6'3", 6'4" talent at the position, not 6'5", 10" talent at the position. You win.
You gotta match that O-line now. You gotta match that 6'8" averaging O-line.
Thank you. You win at the pro. You win by getting talented players in the quarterback room. Notre Dame believes in the talent in their quarterback room. They didn't go get Riley Leonard because, our quarterbacks suck. That's not why they went to get him. They went to get him.
That was the last year feeling, though.
Now, last year was totally different.
Marcus Freeman got to tell his quarterbacks, listen, we need to move.
But he was looking at Tyler Buckner and Drew Pine.
Yeah. Guys he didn't recruit. He ain't talking to nobody in that room now. He like, man, best man win. May the best man win. We done scoured the country to put the best talent in this room. We done went to Mississippi, to Michigan, the North Carolina. We done put all of it in this room. May the best man win. I ain't got to talk to y'all, say on the side and be like, you might need to think about transferring. In that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy transfer now, it's because he's a sore loser, and I understand that these days. He trying to go to the league. That's what it tells me. So I do think that the talent is finally where it should be to feel confident about winning these games. I'm sure a lot of fans looked at Notre Dame's quarterback room through the years and was like, man, I could go do that. You look at this quarterback room now, physically, you can't envision some of that stuff. Oh, I'm not 6'3", so I can't even start thinking about winning for Notre Dame. Oh, I ain't 5-star. I can't even start thinking about going to Notre Dame because that's all they taking, 5-star big dudes.
Yeah.
But now when you walking on that field and you meeting the team, you meeting grown men. Before it was like, oh, these are my office buddies. You got Malik, he's 6 foot, he's short. Oh, you got Drew Pine. I swear he was just a student yesterday. He was a walk-on. He looks like a walk-on. Now we get intimidating guys coming in. Gino Guidugli bringing in the big guns. You see big 6'5" Deuce Knight walking around. You be like, man, are you in the NFL already? It's the perception.
So now you feel like when somebody wins the quarterback competition, you're like, okay,
they deserve, they earned it, and they're looking to be the best in the country.
Yes.
You're gonna be top 5 in the country if you deserve and earn the spot to start at Notre Dame. That's what the talent room is providing, in my opinion.
If Riley Leonard comes out of this fray, I have more confidence in him than I had in Sam Hartman last year.
If he could come out of this situation, yes.
Yes, regardless of what he does.
Sam Hartman was delivered to us on a silver platter. It's a buff. You get everything you want right here. That's all we get. Now you gotta, you really gotta prove something if you want to be in that position, which proves to me that we're serious about being in New York. We're serious about having a draft pick in the first top 2 rounds. Because his room ain't easy. Gino's like, this ain't an easy room to get through. We got a guy that called up there that want to be up there. We got a guy that committed over the guy that we was recruiting in CJ. CJ knew Dante was in the running, but his competitiveness said, I got to get there too. So that's 2 guys right there. That's like, okay, these guys are serious about getting this job. Deuce Knight, 5-star. He's serious. And then you got a scoring lover in Steve Angeli that's got a lot to prove and a lot to lose. And then you bring in the hype man, Riley Leonard, for $2 million. This is going to be interesting to see how it works.
Let me tell you something, Left. It's like, have you ever went to a place that was known for something and you order it, and then there's something else that comes with it that becomes the star of the show? Like, yo, I came here for this, but these mashed potatoes are busting.
Yeah. Surprise.
I'll give you I took my mother out Monday. Took her to this new Japanese steakhouse here in the area called Rosa.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fantastic. So I got the ribeye, right? One of the most tender pieces of meat I've ever had. Pause. Don't take that the wrong way. Yes.
Yeah, that Wagyu. Yeah, that Wagyu.
But it was the seasoning and it was tender. And it did, they sliced it up into strips. The presentation, they placed it in a nice little aioli sauce.
With some garnishes on the side that
Yeah. So I'm like looking at that. But what ended up still in the show was the seafood Brussels sprouts.
Really?
They put shaved fish on top of the Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
Now, the crazy thing is when they brought it to the table, Left, my wife looks at it and says, what is that moving on your food? I never paid attention to it. Andreas, who was our server, shout out to Andreas, you did a fabulous job. I tipped him well, Left. I tipped him well.
Oh, okay. He must have did a good job. Oh, yeah.
He went over and beyond. I tipped him very well. When he sat it down, I didn't pay attention, but they shave fish on top of it. And what it does, the process of it melting, the fish goes back and forth like this on top of the Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
And it's like, yo, and my wife caught it. And when she caught it, I had to call Andreas over to the table, like, hey, yo, what's this? So when he explained it, I was like, bro, that's something you got to explain when you put this on the table, bro. You just can't put fish down on the table, move it back and forth on my food.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to know that's what it is. So we got a nice kick out of it, but it stole the show, bro. The presentation, the taste. I'm like, yo, I love this steak. And that is, that's the Notre Dame quarterback room.
Yeah, like, I felt the same way about
the star, because of the situation, is Riley Leonard. But there are some people in that room that can steal the show now.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
There's some people in that room that can steal the show.
Upset that apple cart for sure.
And Notre Dame fans might not be used to that, but get used to it.
Yeah.
Because Deuce Knight's gonna come up in that room next year. We're gonna fall in love with Kenny.
And somebody's gonna have to figure it out. That's right.
But Deuce, and then somebody in this talented 26 class is going to get added to the room. And that is something as Notre Dame fans that we haven't been used to, that we're going to have to get used to. But it's a problem. Yeah. As Brian J. Ira said, that's a problem we want.
That's exactly it. Because if we got this talent we got, and then a Deuce Knight is somehow starting over the talent we got in this room, you in good hands.
Man, next
year, CJ Carr somehow finds a way to start this year. Yeah. You in good hands. Because the guys ahead of these guys already are talented.
Mm-hmm.
And if Marcus Freeman and Gino Gaduli sees something in these younger pups that they say, oh, we need to elevate you now because you cannot sit on this bench like we do, aka the running backs. But we talk about Jeremiah Love got to play. Jeremiah Love got to touch football. I don't care. We got Aldrick. He has to play. And what did Jeremiah Love do? He done bounced over Jabron. He done bounced over Jadarian. Has to play. And we got a running back full of talent. Running back room full of talent. So much so that Devin had to go play safety.
Mm-hmm.
Because them young boys in the room need to play. They can't just sit on the bench.
Them young boys playing checkers. They double jumping cats.
They jumping cats. So if we can get that in the quarterback room, I know we on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
I know we on the right path. If a Deuce Knight can jump the talent ahead of him right now, I know we on the right path. I know we're going to have a breakout star, a Heisman winner, a guy sitting in New York, a high draft pick. Because the talent's right in the room right now. Just like that running back. Jeremiah Love. Keeter Young, the same situation. He's going to play.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's going to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Ron Payne, hey, bruh.
And Jabron got talent. That's what we're saying. He got the talent.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Jabron went to Rutgers or any of these other schools, he'd probably be one or two. But when you get a guy like Jeremiah Love, it's like, dang. It ain't nothing even against you, Jabron. We just can't let this sit on it. You know what I mean? We can't let this sit. If we had 2 footballs, we'd give him out. But we can't let him just go without touching it.
No.
So that's what I want to see in the QB room.
And QB room, and I don't mind. Look, if I have to do this every year, I would love next year around this time to come on the podcast and apologize to another wide receiver. My fault for thinking you run a 4-4. I apologize.
That's right. My fault for not knowing.
I'll sign up to do that every year. I'll be the one content creator for Notre Dame that apologizes for disrespecting a wide receiver in a wide receiver room. My bad.
That's right.
I said 4-4, you're 4-3. Sign me up. I'll do it every year. If that is the change coming to the Notre Dame wide receiver room and quarterback room, I'm here for it. Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. Left, give me your 3 most important players to this change we're talking about.
Jeremiah Love, Chris Mitchell, based off of your reports, because we need that receiver threat. We ain't had that receiver threat in a minute. And my third person,
whatever quarterback.
I can't even say the quarterback. I would like to see 2 receivers, Chris Mitchell and another receiver. I just can't put on who is going to be yet.
It could be Great House. I wouldn't put that pressure on one of the freshmen quite yet, even though both of the freshmen. Michael Gilbert looked good.
He looked good. Michael Gilbert looked good.
Michael Gilbert looked good, bro. Cam Williams
he was underrated. He was underrated coming in. But 2 receivers got to be the most important players on offense this year. I'm not going to put on the quarterback because, one, in 2 scenarios, you're dealing with first of all, a first-time starter, regardless of who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to put that pressure on a first-time starter or a first-time leader of the season of this offense, whether it be Riley, whether it be Steve or Kenny. All of them are first year. They should take the role of an Ian Book. Just disperse the football, let the other guys shine in your first year until you get ready to take that mantle. Even with Riley being talented, I don't want him to be the main ingredient on an offense. We talked about that earlier. We don't need that. We need the quarterback to do their job. First year, for anybody that's starting in that room, just do your job first. Ride the team to success. Next year, quarterback got to be most important. Quarterback got to be most important because now we need you to win games. Are we relying our whole season on you winning games in this regular season? No. Me and you can go in there and play and do something, win 7 games. And hell, we still a little bit out of shape. So I don't need the quarterback to be most important. I need the 2 receivers and that running back The most important players on this offense, because they need to be having the most yards and the most impact. I need to see Chris Mitchell be up for a Biletnikoff. I need to see a Jeremiah be up for a Doak Walker. I need to see because guess what? Ohio State has 2 receivers that are ready to go at all times. Marvin Harrison, Julian Mbakwe, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson, 2 most players on offense because they're the point production. And then you throw in a Travion Henderson. Obviously, they had CJ the last year. But with Kyle McCord, they went 12 games because of the guys around him. That's what I would want. Kyle McCord had 1 year as a starter and left.
Well, he didn't leave. He was kind of escorted out, but
he won 12 games. Kyle McCord wasn't the best player on that offense, and he won 12 games. So that's just telling you that you can have a great team without the quarterback being the most important. And for this year in particular, let Marcus Freeman recruited talent be the most important players on offense. Let Denbrock let those boys shine. And that's going to come with the trust. Steve's confidence is going to be able to operate that. We don't need Fiats with V8 engines. We got Lamborghinis and all type of stuff. So let those guys be who they want to be. And the quarterback, just be consistent. Just do your job. If we got to, you're not in a position where Sam was, where you got to go win some games. You got to go win that Clemson game. You got to go win that Ohio State game. You got to go win against USC. This year is man, just stay down the straight and narrow. Don't turn the ball over. Don't get crazy. Because if you don't turn it over, we're going to be straight. So I think we're still in the right place for that.
When we come back, Left, we'll hear from Nick Saban. And we'll also talk about the biggest obstacle for Notre Dame this year. The biggest obstacle for Notre Dame's offense this year. Forever committed to making sure we continue to spin it different. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. We'll be right back.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. We are back. Brought to you by ONORA Whiskey at ONORAWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
CFB Nation. Don't forget Apple Podcasts, Spotify, audio edibles each and every day. Don't forget patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. I'm going to talk to my big bro, Cam McDaniel, today, man. Solidify some things. Chemistry is going to be up and running next week. Things are put on pause for the last couple of weeks because guys were being gracious to me for some things that I had to handle, some personal matters I had to handle. And we thank you guys for hanging in with us. We're still being supported. So go over there to patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. What's the biggest obstacle, Left? The biggest speed bump? I think I already know. You might have mentioned it in the first half of the show, but what's the speed bump to Notre Dame's offense reaching its peak and being a top 10 offense?
Yeah, just not playing the guys that deserve to play. I think not recognizing the talent of who's hot right now, who's the formula of who works together the best. So it would be a disservice to put guys out there that don't work together the best. That means you didn't figure it out in spring what situations are best fit and for what we have. I talk about the rotations of the Lakers because it stands out so much how terrible it is. Darvin Ham's terrible at putting these variables together to have the formula to win. But it's funny because the Lakers have one of the better rosters. In a vacuum, you just look at the Lakers rosters, you can win with that. But the way they rotate players is atrocious. That's why they're the bottom of the West, because their rotations suck. But we know that if they get it right by playoffs, they are a contending team, except if they play Denver. So It's one of those things that it would be a disservice if we don't figure those variables out right in the spring to be able to have the formula for fall camp to execute and know who we should win with getting into it. So not identifying X factors, it would be a huge disservice in taking that step forward in the offense.
I will say this, and Gilbert Arenas said something to go to your point. He said the best players are not intimidated by LeBron. He said you can't play with LeBron and be intimidated. He said Kyrie was able to beat Kyrie because Kyrie was like, even if he was on something, he still felt like, I could score 40 just like you. Kyrie felt like he was just as important. So when Kyrie got the ball, he was going to cook. He didn't wait for Bron to make a play for him. He cooked. He said that's why D'Lo is doing what he's doing now, because D'Lo is finally just getting the rock and cooking. When you get the rock, cook. Let Bron make plays for everybody else. But if you feel like you're a dude and you're out there playing with him, you're going to have room to operate because of him. So you might as well just cook. No one's going to help off of him. I thought that was really important, right? And I think that goes to Shamrock and Shenanigans. Either way, we have Mike Mitchell, Great House, Cam, Micah Gilbert, Bo Collins, Jaden Harrison, Jordan Faison. You got all this talent in the room. Go cook. I don't care who the quarterback is. Go cook. And hopefully that's the mentality that everybody in this offense has moving forward. Everybody wants to cook. Everybody. This could be a 3-year stretch with Notre Dame's offense. Need I say, into the top 10 consecutive years? That, man, you're talking about historical. If that happened?
Offensively, top 10?
Yes.
Defense would be around there, I think. Offense getting there, we should be the best team in the country, like Washington. Washington had a really good defense, or good enough defense, top 10 offense. 2 top categories, you go far.
Yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. So Nick Saban, ladies and gentlemen, was on Capitol Hill yesterday. The now retired legendary head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And this is what he had to say. Take a listen.
Things that I've believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how.
Left. Go ahead, Left. You go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Left, because I'm ready to go in on this dude. Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Nick Saban. Nobody says nothing about you getting paid a buku amount of dollars to do your job. I don't understand. Your job is to develop players, win championships, blah, 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 blah. That comes at a price that people had to pay over the $100 million that you, and all state commercials and all things you're doing. It clearly didn't affect you. So why all of a sudden, because people are getting money, it affects how they think about the game? It didn't affect how you went about it. It's a control thing for Nick Saban. Why are you counting pockets of other players? That ain't got nothing to do with you doing your job. You just got to do your job better. You can't be a liar. You got to be straightforward. Guys, the market is the market. But we know that you were going to tap out because this is the same thing that you didn't like about the NFL. And you started losing games. And the players didn't respond to you the same way non-paid players respond. So you couldn't talk to Ricky Williams like that. Couldn't talk to Aaron Taylor like that. So it's a control thing that is real funny that you're using it as, oh, it's not the same. College football is the same. It's still white lines you got to play in between. The retention's different because you have an equal or a more equal playing field. Guys are getting what they deserve. And the funny thing is that Nick Saban, not every guy on the team is getting paid like that. You're talking about the top 2 or 3%. Now, this top 2 or 3% can be the difference in winning a championship. But if we're talking about college football as it is, you got 105 football players on the team, not all of them getting paid. So what you so upset over? Bryce Young got paid and it worked out great. But so I don't understand the lopsidedness of the conversation. You're upset about doing what has always happened. I talked to Eddie Lacy yesterday. Eddie Lacy told me how it went down. You play good. You get called upstairs to this room with all these people you ain't never met before, and they hand you an envelope. Nick said, you know how that goes. So now that is out there, you don't like it now? You built your program off of this. Why do you have a car dealership in the city of Tuscaloosa? Who's getting them cars? I don't see you on no car. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that it's just a matter of you don't like that you can't control things like you used to. And you know that it's going to, in turn up on your legacy. Because don't go into a season where you 7-5 and complaining about, oh, we're not paying enough guys. We don't have enough. Don't do that. Because the Coach Saban's got to come out. You're supposed to be coaching. It doesn't matter. You're getting the best players. You're putting people in the league. This and that. It shouldn't change because somebody's getting paid. Because you've been getting paid, Nick Saban, since you've been there. Probably the highest paid coach in the country by far. Now a guy get $1 billion. Now you feeling away? That just doesn't rub me the right way when I hear that. Because then you talking about you want to retire, but you want to get involved and still trying to help the NIL thing out. If you retire, go to sleep. Why are you trying to get it in the legislation and get into the higher ups of the city? You're not Jack Swarbrick. That's what they call for that, not you, Nick Saban. So instead of just riding off into the sunset, now you want to ride off but work in the back room to try to do what? Obviously, you're not a proponent of it because you quit the game because you didn't like how it was going. So what are you trying to involve yourself in on the back end legislation part? So it's a transition in the mentality in college football. It's a transition in mentality in college football. And a lot of those guys can't stand the rain. Kirby can. Because Kirby was doing it before it got hot. That's why he got on it early. He got on it early. So shame on Nick Saban, man. You worse than your legacy to me. Keep talking about it. If you retire, go to sleep.
Fact. So I'm going to start here, Left, because I think you did an excellent job talking about your relationship with Eddie Lacy and having the information that you had, how that's been the core of the building of the Alabama legacy and the Alabama dynasty.
Yeah.
That's like meeting someone and being drawn to them because of their figure and then getting mad that when you get with them, that other men like them.
Like the same thing you like.
Figure.
Why are you getting mad at the attention that's what got you there? What do you mean? She's thick now. She was thick then. And
you knew
she's
she was
thick in the future.
You knew she was a dime, but you thought you were going to be the only person.
You think you're so smart, you figured it out. You're the only one that's going to try to talk to her. Come on, man.
And now the dudes are still trying to spit game. Now you got an attitude.
Yeah, dudes don't care nothing about you dating because they like what you like.
Exactly.
You offended that what? No, it's how the game go. But that means, with that being said, you got to do your job better. You still got to do your job. You can't rest on the laurels of, oh, I got the thick chick, I'm good. Can't do that. You got to be active. You got to still be the guy that's trying to get it, because guess what? There's other offers on the table. Guess what? You know what I'm saying? There's other offers out there. So Nick Saban don't like that he can't just collect, and then sit back and be like, okay, let's get it done. Now it's collect. Wait a minute, you leaving? You ain't used to that. But you used to snatching and grabbing other transfers and making it Jahmyr Gibbs and all of this and making it work. I just think that you got real salty when other dudes are trying to holler at your girl. That's all I'm saying. You got you a dime and you saw the other dude trying to holler at you. Can't take it.
You're really showing that you're insecure.
It's just insecure.
The greatest college football coach of all time is showing his insecurity.
And can't let it go. If you done, okay, we understand. We ride off in the sunset, you had your farewell tour, all of that. You still making headlines. Why, Nick Saban? Why are you insecure at the fact that the game pushed you out and you didn't want to evolve with the game evolving? That's what I don't understand.
No, he wants to be able to hold fast to his truths, right? And continue to facade like those were his truths when they never were. See, you want to be able to pay players, but you don't want the public to know about it. You don't feel comfortable with everybody knowing that you're open to paying players. You still want to keep this facade of being a traditional coach that believes in traditional values, even though, you take your hands off of it. I'm not giving them the money. I'm not talking. That was a booster. They just happen to use my office for the meeting. Nah, bruh. It is what it is. It is what it is. Stand on it. Stand on business. Stand on it. Now you want to pass the buck to Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer has no problems. None. I guarantee you he paid for Rome. I guarantee you he paid for Michael Penny. He has no problems. He paid for the running back that came from Mississippi State last year. No problems. Right up his alley. But you have the nerve to sit in front of Congress and whine and complain. And someone in the chat mentioned this. I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree, Left. I just think the process of how things get done. High school kids were still trying to do things, smoke weed, smash, that kids are doing today. They just didn't have cell phones.
That's
all.
Have cell
they just didn't have the technology. We tried to do the same thing on half days. We tried to do the same things when I was in high school, Left. We had the same mindset as these kids today. They just happen to have more access.
That's it.
SMU, the entire program was killed. Why? Because players wanted money. Players have always wanted money. Always. Players have always wanted their families taken care of. Oh, this isn't new. This isn't new. And instead of rightly dividing in truth or with truth and discerning what was coming, guys like Nick Saban and the NCAA, they want to go to their corners. They want to throw tantrums. Senator Ted Cruz, they want to go in front of Congress and throw tantrums like children are ruined. How stupid do you have to look to go in front of Congress and say the kids are ruining everything? The kids. You're grown adults that had the opportunity to set up parameters and set up rules.
Yeah, y'all only allowing the kids to do this. This ain't. Oh man.
But you want to go to Congress and say it's the kids' fault.
It's the kids.
It's the kids' fault. The world is in the place is in. Really? Johnny S., I'm with you, bro. Johnny S. says probably worse back in the day because we did it undercover. We did it with payphones, bro. Payphones don't even exist. We did it with payphones and pagers. Notes in the hallway, passing in between classes.
Yeah.
And now we want to stand in front of grown adults, as grown adults, and point the finger at kids. These kids don't want anything but money. And then you stand there and lie like the foundation of football hasn't changed. Like you still don't coach and develop. Like Kirby Smart is just paying players and they come ready to play. Just plug and play. Like he's not spending time coaching and developing. Man, shut up. What are you talking about, man? Little by little, Nick Saban, you're losing the respect, the incredible amount of respect that I had for you.
Yeah. At least Dabo stuck with it. He complained and he's still coaching. He complained and he's still coaching. And he's still talking stuff about NIL, but he's sticking with it to the point where he told you, Cade Klubnik's my guy, I ain't looking no transfer. I ain't going no transfer. He's fighting it. He fighting a good fight. That's why I can respect Dabo. He gonna talk that stuff. He gonna keep fighting. Nick Saban is throwing stones and hiding his hand. Why? Like you said, this ain't the kids' fault. Let's just put that on the table right there. Like you said, Sean, this is not the kids' fault. What they say about Donald Trump? They mad at Donald Trump not showing them tax returns. Donald Trump said the tax code always been that way. What you mean? What you mad at me? It's set up that way. Donald Trump, you can't be mad at me when that's what it is. Y'all just ain't doing it. That's the loopholes. Blame the system. Don't blame me. I don't want to show y'all why do I gotta show y'all my tax return? I'm only doing what is allowed to do. So when this NIL says it's wild, wild west, anything can happen. The kid's gonna be like, oh yeah, I want 5,000 to show up. I want 5,000 for a visit. Wait, are you paying it means it's okay. It ain't my fault.
So now I'm wrong if a school offers me 5 stacks to visit? I'm wrong? Somehow the kid is wrong?
The kid wrong for asking. He hasn't seen you did it to another kid. They talk. Kids talk. That's where it get crazy. Kids talk because y'all thought y'all was being slick. Thought y'all was keeping it under wraps. And that kid went back to his neighborhood and said, yeah, man, I got 10 bands just having a conversation with him. Oh, yeah?
Look, I wonder how many people that watch us and tune in every day, if you had the day off or I had the day off, and either one of us reached out to them, talking about LL Nation, reached out to them and said, yo, I want you to co-host with me today, and I'm going to give you $500. How many of them would say, man, Left, I love y'all so much, you ain't even got to pay. Just the honor of doing it. See, that's what you expect the kids to say? A school calls like, yo, I'll give you 5 stacks to come visit. Oh, man, no. Just fly me in. I don't need the 5 stacks. Just coming to campus is good enough. Yeah, all right. Okay. We need to be a little bit more objective and have a greater sense of reality than fantasy when it comes to these young athletes and college athletics. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? I'll stand here on a Notre Dame podcast and tell you, Lou Holtz wasn't pure. I know you might want that fantasy of the great Lou Holtz. Eric Parsegian wasn't pure. Dan Devine wasn't pure. I know that's the connection to Notre Dame. We do it the right way. In the history of Notre Dame, there are some players that have been taken care of. There are some families that have been taken care of. And in order for us to objectively look at that, we must first drop this Disney fantasy of what college sports is and was, and it's pure. And this stop.
It's not. It's never been.
It's never been that
And it's
way.
not getting any more under wraps. Like it's all unraveling to where we can't give this facade of this amateur sports anymore. This is club sports.
Man,
You getting paid. It's the way things need to be. If NIL was today, Lou Holtz would still be at school. If Notre Dame,
if Lou Holtz had NIL,
he did have
and
NIL.
Benny,
That was the problem.
no, I'm talking about legal. I'm talking about legal.
Legal NIL. Lou Holtz had
Bruh.
a statue. He had a couple
Man.
more championships. Notre
Man,
Dame didn't want to ride with it. That's
well, he
all it is.
already has a statue.
He would have a golden one right in the front. He would have been right in the touchdown Jesus, and then Lou Holtz be right in the front of that. I'm
They would
telling
put him
you,
on the top of the stadium opposite touchdown Jesus.
he'll be on the top. He'll be right. I'm serious. And because at the end of the day, Notre Dame knows that Lou Holtz was the real, true NIL. We trying to win at all costs coaches. To almost a fault. You know, he almost a fault. But when you have a guy like that, look at the legacy that it left. They still talking about him. His players still revere him because he wasn't on a Nick Saban, oh, you guys shouldn't get paid. Da, da, da. He was like, no, we're going to get paid, but we're going to win and we're going to work hard and we're going to, what you need, I'm going to take care of you. Because that's the relationships that Nick Saban needs to be honest about. You took care of a lot of families, Nick Saban. You took care of a lot of kids in situations that you know that if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't be there. So why are you trying to poo-poo on the situation now? You've helped a lot of guys that couldn't get to Alabama if it wasn't for a couple dollars dropped in the pocket.
Man,
you done moved Tua's family from Hawaii down in Birmingham. What are you talking about?
With jobs
in a house and all that. So why are we acting as if those relationships that you were building, because you talk about, oh, relationships aren't built in the room. And Lou Holtz was building those relationships and his players love him for it. So why are you going back on it? Nick Saban, you helped out a lot of families before some NIL was ever a thing. You done a lot of guys. Like I said, I talked to Eddie Lacy yesterday. A lot of guys have a lot of respect for you. But when you start doing this duality.
Oh, they call it cap. They call it cap.
They call it cap. Oh, I know. That's why I'm like, you hurting yourself, Nick Saban, because a lot of guys respect you. A lot of players have a lot of great things to say about you. But then you go in there and poo-poo on them talking about, oh, it ain't the same. These kids is crazy. What do you mean? You made them crazy. You made them crazy, Nick Saban. You was letting Bryce get paid under all this and stuff, and he wasn't even starting for you.
He got paid before he got to Alabama.
And you never had a problem about it?
Never.
You know why? Because Bryce Young was saving your bacon. He was saving your bacon with Bill O'Brien. That's why. So I just don't like that. And I hope Marcus Freeman never turns into that. Because Marcus Freeman's on a good trajectory right now. Everything is flowing. I don't want him to look down 10 years later and be like, oh, these kids are crazy. Come on.
So if you feel like all kids want is money, then why don't you match? Why don't you match what was given in NIL money to Alabama players? Match that from your salary to a charity. Do that. So you can show players what it's all about. Do that. Be an example. Be an answer. If they're going down the wrong path, show your players and show the players and young adults in college athletics what they should be about. Show them. Be an example. I bet you won't cut that check, though. I bet you won't cut that check. Dude, talking about the kids are the problem. A room full of adults pointing a finger at kids.
That's how you know it's bad. Because it don't sound right when you say it, Sean. How you gonna blame the kids, man? The kids ain't offering themselves scholarships.
So I guess
kids ain't watching film on themselves.
I guess it's the kids that decided to steal money off the name, image, and likeness of kids for years, decades.
For years.
That was the kids'
Years.
idea. And when the kids woke up and said, "Hey, this isn't right. This shouldn't be legal," you got an attitude.
You got an attitude.
Man, you gonna actually stop me from stealing? Yes.
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 Oh, I actually got to respect you. Oh, as a player. Oh, okay. I can't just run you around and make you feel like you need me. That's what it is. They don't think they need Coach Saban necessarily. They don't need Saban for success. They need the opportunity and the platform. And the opportunity and platform can be provided damn near anywhere in college football right now because of that NIL. So, yeah, Alabama sits at the top of the mountain from a lot of accolades, but that's not the top of the mountain to some of these kids because they like Nico Imavalita. Oh, I can get $8 million at Tennessee. Bama who? I'm looking to beat Bama. Now the revere and the intimidation ain't the same. Because a top player, back in the day, you a top player, got to go to Alabama to sign your ticket to go to the league. Now you can get some money going down the street to Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
Sign your ticket the same way. Nick Saban's like, wait, you need me. I'm Nick Saban, SEC championships every year. You get to the players, it ain't hitting players the same way. Or I can get to the league at Cincinnati, get paid doing it, and take my chances there. At least I'm going to get some money right now. Nick Saban won a 4 for 40 on that back end for football. You come here for 4 years, I'll work you like a slave, don't give you nothing, but you're going to get paid when you get to the league. No, Nick Saban, that's out. I can go do the same thing, not win a championship, and still get the same benefits.
And then Nick Saban will probably have the nerve to say, "You get a great Alabama education."
Yeah, that can't. Yeah. Like my dog Eddie Lacy. I'm putting all my dog Eddie Lacy information out there. I love my dog Eddie, but Eddie told me, he said, "Listen,
like,
man."
I can see. I understand Notre Dame fans. Say, "Yo, you know the value of a Notre Dame education." Like that's a really good counterpoint argument. It still doesn't hold up, but I get it.
It don't hold up, no.
Nick Saban, administration in Alabama, that's laughable. Please tell me you're not telling Alabama athletes it's great Alabama education, though.
He just says you can graduate. He says you can get a degree. But that's the same thing I be saying is like, man, the facade that is carried out can no longer be used. It just can't be used anymore. It's not flying for parents and coaches and people involved. So the fairy tale is over, Nick Saban. Let's start talking about real conversations. How can we manage this NIL constructively and positively to where it's equal playing field? Not talking down on it and talking stuff and crying because players getting poached and offered better deals than you. That's all it is. You mad that people getting better offers? Come on, man. I ain't never saw that from a guy that's insecurity. You're upset that these kids are getting better offers than just winning a championship in Alabama. You can't fathom the fact that something is a better offer than going to Alabama to be coached by you. You can't even fathom that. Oh, you're going to take some money and a coach that just got there?
Mm-hmm.
And you trust that over tried and true Nick Saban?
Mm-hmm.
And these kids is like, yeah, I need $5K to come, or I'm going over there. I don't know why we got to go back and forth over this.
You know what Nick Saban is? Nick Saban is that dude that grew up with the likes of Jane Kennedy, Diana Ross, just natural bombshells, natural dimes, right? And all of a sudden, he's looking at all these coaching BBLs, these BBL football programs now, right? These enhancements, and he's like, man, that ain't natural. That ain't the way we used to do it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that. But a lot of coaches that do.
A lot of coaches that
like
do.
them like that.
Marcus Freeman like the BBLs now. He
Wait, hold on. Don't
Marcus
get
Freeman
into
is a
trouble.
BBL
Don't
guy.
get
He
us in
take it
trouble with Coach. Don't get us in trouble with Coach, bro. Don't.
metaphoric BBLs. You know, he got to. He take them natural. He taking the BBLs. He taking the Botox enhancements, the boob job. He taking it all because he
The
said
lips.
it's
He
available.
said put the fillers in the lips and
Yeah,
everything.
he taking the lip fillers. He's like, look, he'll look at it for a second. Okay, we can work with that. We can work with that. It's okay. That's okay. You still beautiful to the eye of the beholder. Nick Saban fighting that natural 80s. You got to look this. Hey, times changed. Hell, expand your horizons.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I didn't know we were gonna end that segment talking about BBLs, but hey, man. Oh, man. Eric, hey, man. I'm sorry, man. It's the end of the show. You came in on the butt end, literally. Of the conversation.
That's right. That's right. Talking about he didn't know if he was in the right podcast. You at the right place, baby. You know, we talk about it all, man. It's the life podcast. We're gonna correlate everything to this Notre Dame football.
Yo, Lucky Lefty podcast, great show. Chat as always. You all make it what it is. You keep it lit. Man, we talked about the offense, the 3 keys to the offense being explosive and productive in 2024 against top competition in the playoffs. And then we talked about the 3 key players in that transformation, and then the obstacle, the obstacle and hurdle to that happening, and then Nick Saban. Man, right here. Only us, baby. We spin it different. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction. It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing. Now, are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petty Junction, Petty Story today brought to you by ONORA Whiskey at NORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey. NORAWhiskey.com. I'm still laughing. Well, come on down. Gilbert Arenas, Nick Young. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, look, the Jalen Green Drea situation is what it is. We laughed about
Gilbert
it.
Arenas making it worse now.
Yeah, but this kissing and telling and stuff y'all doing, thinking that that's funny. Like that. Grow up. Grow up. Y'all mad because the youngster doing his thing? You missing it? What is it? What?
Do you think it's more jealousy? Do you think it's a jealous thing from the older guys that they hating or what? Or do you think it is?
No, it's actually funny. Now, to talk about it is funny because it's like, yo, her son is the same age as this dude.
Man, that's...
She has a son that is the same age as Jalen Green, bro.
What do you think about that? Like,
from her son's point of view?
From outside looking in, how would you evaluate this lady with a baby with a guy the same age as her son? And she's... Oh, man. What, I mean, what would you say? If the roles were, I don't even think you can play the roles or reverse game because I don't think men and women are the same. But what do you think? I mean, that's just such a, and her reasoning behind it is even crazier. Like, she basically chopped it down to, well, we both decided we want a kid, and then it is what it is after that. I just think that mindset is the craziest part.
That cat NV Milton fan doing research. He originally asked what BBL meant, and he Googled it, left.
Hey, you better be careful. You're not at work or something. You're going to pop something on Google. You're going to have you in trouble now. You're going to be blaming the podcast. You done got fired for lewd internet activity at work, man. You gotta chill.
Oh man, it is an enhancement.
That's
It
right.
is an enhancement. We'll leave it at that. Eric Spadell with the super chat. Thank you. He said for the Marcus Freeman BBL comment, got my stomach hurting at work.
Straight up. Marcus Freeman take it how they come now.
Oh, this is one of the greatest shows ever. That's one of the shows we've ever done, dude. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. So yeah, Nick Young, hey man, you got to come on down for that, brother. You got to come on down. Who's next, Left? Who's next?
Man,
The things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them.
So you're mad at the mothers now. Come on down. See, we talked about Nick. Terry Saban, come on down. Miss Terry, come on down. Come on down. You mad because the mothers of players come to you as you're trying to coax them and convincing their sons to commit to Alabama? So you're playing your part in influencing them to give the thumbs up to Alabama, and you're mad because they're asking you about NIL money? The nerve.
The nerve.
The nerve. Your elitist, arrogant self. The nerve. All they care about is money. What do you drive? How many Chanel purses do you have? Huh? Are you going to give all that up? Because if all you care about is developing and taking care of the kids, give up your life of luxury. Give it up. Live
It's
as a
just
priest.
so lopsided, man. I hate it. Because now it's like, you hating on brother getting some money?
You're rolling in dough and you're mad because they're asking for their pennies that they're owed. Pennies.
Pennies now. We ain't talking about
in comparison to what you and your husband are getting. You're mad because they're asking about pennies.
To the point where you trying to talk about the character of the person. That's what get me. You on these people's character because they asking for what you getting like it ain't nothing. You done went to 50 years of coaching. Yeah, 50 years has been wrong. 50 years has been wrong. If we look at football back when it was Bill Parcells' era and all of that, they wasn't doing them players right. Hell, 2013, we was hurting to eat. You didn't think it was a problem? It was hurting for us to eat. We getting these little Pell Grants and these little FAFSA checks once every semester. Boys going home hungry. We got to eat McDonald's and all this other stuff because it only 1 meal, 2 meals you get a day. That's what we really was going through. And hell, probably still going through for 85% of college football players because not everybody getting paid now. Let's keep that in perspective. So we talking about 15% of college football getting decently paid on pennies to what you're getting, Nick Saban. And you're talking about the man character now? They don't love it enough? Dang, why can't I love it and get some money, Nick Saban? Obviously, I'm good enough if you recruiting me. So clearly you see the value you want to poach off of me. Why not just pay me? Why not just pay me?
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I had to put his wife on. I just had to, Left. Like, are we kidding right now?
It's sad because he's serious and he's still talking about it.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. I think I have one more for us. Is this it, love?
Man, you see how they
Everybody
be
was
going at Michael.
emotional.
No, that's not it. Go
You
ahead.
see how they
love.
going at Michael Jordan, man. Gilbert Arenas done said Michael Jordan took steroids, man.
Man, look. You put Isaiah Thomas is still out here lying too. So,
What's up with Isaiah Thomas hating on Steph? Talking about Steph ain't a point guard. Well, what is he?
I don't know.
Man, they gotta keep him off the.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas be talking too crazy for me.
Yeah, between him saying that and between him saying that he never knew Michael Jordan felt this way about him. Stop lying. Just stop lying.
Stop.
Stop lying. And then, but I will give him credit. He finally told Draymond the truth about himself and that dynasty. He told him, hey, if K didn't come, no, bro.
He said y'all will be looked at as a 73-9 losing team.
Losing team. Flat out.
Hey, Draymond was hurt, bro.
He was hurt.
He was hurt.
That's what the truth does. He told the truth. He told the truth. But let me see, this is sensitive for me, Lefty. You know, as I am a teacher of the word, and I support all teachers of the word, but sometimes, man, you know, you have to use examples, life examples, to get points across. And this right here, bro, you know, you talk about using sports. You remember when Cardoza, the starting center who had not hit a three-pointer in 3 years, hit the game winner in the semifinals of the SEC tournament to defeat Tennessee?
Off the backboard.
Off the backboard.
And all.
Well, a pastor in South Carolina decided to use that to emphasize his point. Let's just take a listen, love.
Tournament. At her senior year, she's never taken a three-point shot. So nobody's guarded her because, y'all know where I'm going? Because nobody is expecting nothing good. Show y'all what's gonna happen. Cause I wouldn't be preaching to y'all. Hold on. Nobody's got her. Cause in 3 years, she never did this before. I came to tell somebody you getting ready to do something. All right, I know some of y'all just want to see the clip. Go ahead and roll the clip in 3 years and look what happened.
Bruh, look, let me tell you something, man. Hey, I'm pretty creative with life examples. That's one of my strengths. Hey,
that brother had it.
Using the Cardoza three-pointer. Hey, I gotta tip my cap. I gotta tip my cap to my brother.
Nothing from him. That's why they wasn't guarding. You don't expect it. That was the word right there.
Hey, that is expect big things.
Because I still can't believe they didn't guard that girl, even if she ain't shot for the whole life. You gonna give somebody an open shot with 1 second left?
I'll be honest. I wouldn't have guarded her either.
Wait a minute. We're not talking about. We talking about just putting a hand up or something. The girl ran out the paint, and her man stayed still.
She caught it in 2-point range and stepped back for the three.
Back, set shot and all. Like you let it go all the way through. And I felt the Tennessee coach. I was about to cry with her. You see the coach. He just couldn't believe it. The Tennessee coach was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Hey man, I saw the clip. I was like, I'm just gonna play this. He lined it up though, Doc. Oh, yeah. He lined it up. Hey,
that brother was so. It was so. As soon as he saw that shot, he said, "Let me start writing because I got the word right here. The word preaching to me right now because it was too clear. It was too glaring of a moment. Too glaring of a moment."
Yeah, he said this is gonna set the captives free here, boy. He knew this right here. It's right here. It's gonna send the church up. Yes, sir. It's gonna send the church up.
He said, we're gonna send that collection plate right after this because I know I hit him with this. I hit him with this word. They're gonna be Jesus need that. For the show.
Hey, I actually sang this past Sunday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I actually sang. I had a point and I actually sang a song.
Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. It led from you was talking and then you went into
Yeah.
song from the
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Got to hitting them notes.
Yeah, and it was nothing but God because I don't have a voice. And people said it sounded decent. So I
Yeah,
was like,
people
yeah,
look at me like, okay,
I had to be in the Holy Ghost. I had to be left. He saved me because I have no musical talent at all.
couldn't repeat it if you wanted to. That was a
No.
one time. Let me just
Wouldn't
ride
even
this
try.
out.
Wouldn't even try with it, but he touched me. He just touched me momentarily. That's all I needed
That's right.
to make the point that I needed to make and to get people to understand what I wanted them to understand. That's why I showed the clip because I have much appreciation, man. Hey, when you find something that people can relate to, by all means, use it. I will not be using BBL, but
You'll have to sit and fester on that for a little bit. How you can come up with something good with that one, because that's a stretch.
Ashley Hill said, "Make a joyful noise."
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, someone asked the name of the restaurant we spoke about earlier is Roka. Roka. It is a ROKA Japanese steakhouse in Oak Brook, out in Oak Brook. Yeah, and the Indy Milton fan, that is see, we start at 10 every week and we're done at noon.
Yep.
And that's like the high end. So maybe the old school, old school churches, maybe 2 hours max for us. 2 hours.
That's right.
Every black church, black church isn't monolithic, dude. You have some that might fit that profile, and then
it's the song, it's the songs that make it go a little long. Because you get about an hour and 10 in before the sermon even come on. So it's like you in there just going through that,
Yeah, it is. It's not because you have to do a teaching is going to be any. This is the way I look at it. Any teacher worth a grain of salt, minimum is going to do 30 minutes.
Easily.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. I would give grace to, I would say the perfect landing spot is probably 40 to 45. You start approaching an hour, it's like, okay. And then that's just teaching. That's not even including like prayer, praise and worship, which could be in totality 30 minutes itself, which puts you at about an hour, 15 minutes. And I said 2 hours max. I didn't say that was every Sunday. I said,
right. Yeah, it definitely varies. Yeah.
That's it. Sometimes we out of there 11:30.
Really?
Yeah. My father was the master of like the 20-minute sermon.
He
but
not
then
like
he would,
what's
he would turn around and pray for people for 10 to 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So,
What do you think of what's that famous dude name? He always doing the crazy sermon. Michael Todd. That's his name.
What do I think about him?
Yeah.
I think Michael Todd is Michael Todd, I know his dad. Or my father.
Oh, you know his family type.
Yeah. Not like that, not intimately, but my father and his father knew each other in the circle, traveling and everything. So I do love him when he was a youngster, and he's versed in the word. I just don't like people. See, you have to be objective, man. Are there some people that go too far trying to be relatable?
Because he go there. That's
He's cutting edge. He's cutting edge. And see, I believe there is a lot of fruit that needs to be harvested, and everybody can harvest the same type of fruit. the people I'm meant to talk to, that's what
Oh,
I'm meant
meaning
for.
you can't appeal to everybody's ears,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And there are a group of people that he draws in that in totality we all should be appreciative if that is indeed the assignment that he's been given. Yeah, I can't question that. That's between him, and that's it. That's why I'm very slow to judge the way people teach, bro.
Yeah.
That's their creativity. I stay within mine, and I allow other people, but it's so funny because people that want to call him out are really quick to do so. But it's like you have to be careful when you put your mouth on people, man.
Yeah.
You have to, because I can disagree with a point someone makes. Like he literally was trying to explain a story and brought his biological brother up on stage and literally spit in his biological brother's eye to prove a point. But him and his brother had discussed what was going to happen all week. So when it went viral, people were like, "Oh my God, he's spit in somebody's face!" Like that's his brother, and his brother agreed to be part of the illustration. So that's an example of a time where people felt like he went too far, right? So he's done a lot of stuff. Like he's flooded his stage. He's done some crazy things. But I mean, if it's not for you,
When does it become a showmanship and less about the word? Does it ever
that's
happen?
okay. TD Jakes is a showman.
Oh man,
I'm
we
just
know his
saying. I
we
mean,
know we know TD Jakes' word ain't the word. That's
talking about Jimmy
something else.
Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart was a showman. Jimmy Swaggart would get on his piano. He's a great musician, not just a pastor evangelist, great musician. He would, get on his piano, show out. Man, showmanship is just the ability to be able to convey a message. I mean, Nikola Jokic isn't a showman like LeBron per se, but he's a showman in his own way. The little stuff he does, acting innocent and throwing up shots and all of this and all of that. He's being a showman, but he's being a showman in his own way. And it's not as overt as, say, a LeBron James or a Ja Morant. I mean, it's just the way they go about doing their business, And I really don't worry about whether or not he's doing the Lord's work, bro. Because if he's not, man, he's got some things coming.
Yeah.
If he's out here false flagging, I'll pray for him and his seed, because he's doing them a terrible injustice if he is indeed out here false flagging. So that's why I don't worry about it. Because I mean, if he's false flagging, there's nothing I can do.
Well, I mean,
but pray.
You in the craft though, so it's like, does it put a bad name on the craft?
The bad name has been on the craft for ages, left. The bad name was on Jesus. They put a bad name on him.
I mean,
I'm just saying that comes with the bro. I just literally had last night. I taught a message that if you are truly wanting blessings in your life, you have to be able to accept the suffering that comes with it, because they come hand in hand.
Things that come good have suffering attached to it.
Yes. There is nothing in life that is good that you are not going to have to endure something. You have to endure some things to become the starting quarterback in Notre Dame, bro. Some things that no one else knows about.
That's fair.
You have to endure some challenges, bro. You had to.
I would agree with that.
But it came with the territory. Wearing the crown of being the starting quarterback in Notre Dame comes with some things, man. And it is what it is. And you have to be willing to accept that, because there's a blessing even in that, because the suffering strengthens people, man. It strengthens people. And people can't become as strong as they're supposed to become because they run from the suffering, dude. The first sign of suffering or tough times, they want to quit and give up. And that's the worst thing we can do in life. It's quit.
It's giving up. Yeah, I agree with that.
Giving up is the worst thing we can do, man, because there's a blessing in the midst of it if we can just endure. Just endure. Be resilient. And you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. I promise you, man, you're going to be all right. I didn't even mean to get churchy, man. I didn't even know we was going to go this route.
Right.
But I'm just saying, man.
That's right.
Yo, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. Brian, I keep it on at all times, my brother. I keep it on at all times. So yeah, for those of you that, you can go to Psalms 41 and just read it and meditate on it, man. Just read it and meditate on it, man. It's really encouraging. It really is. Left, tomorrow we do it again. Another great show. I don't know the route we're going to take tomorrow, because I definitely didn't expect to talk God and BBLs in the same show.
Yeah. It all connects somehow. It connects somehow. I think we play it back. We'll see how.
Notre Dame, God, and BBLs. Only on the Lucky Lefty podcast.
Only here. You're only getting this here. As I'm saying, you gotta come back because you're only getting a word that can connect like that right here.
So for Left, Sean Davis, SD2 Mics, man, have a great day. But most of all, make sure that you continue to spin it different.